Welcome to FIH Neuro Mindset. Finance, investment, mindset. Understanding how the system really works.
Finance keeps life running. Investment helps money grow. And mindset decides how well both work.
Today, we're stepping outside the conventional boundaries of what we're taught about money, success, and the actual timeline of our lives. We're going to look at the hidden architecture of wealth and literally deconstruct a psychological trap that billions of us fall into every single day, completely without realizing it. All right, let's dive into this. But first, a quick note. This explainer is provided for educational and informational purposes only. It doesn't provide financial or investment advice. The creator isn't registered with any financial or regulatory authority, so viewers are encouraged to rely on their own understanding and consult a qualified professional if needed. Now, I want you to imagine this. You finally have the luxury house. You have the cars. You have millions in the bank. You've achieved every single financial dream you ever visualized. But you're in the twilight of your life. Your youth, your peak energy, it's completely gone. Can you truly enjoy that wealth the way you always dreamed of? See, this is the painful paradox of the traditional life path. We sacrifice our absolute best years, just waiting for a payoff that arrives when we're biologically depleted.
Part 1. The Grand Financial Illusion.
We've been conditioned, psychologically, socially, you name it, to accept this grand illusion that wealth is just a biological waiting game. You know, when we picture a vastly wealthy person, our minds automatically default to older figures, right? The seasoned billionaires who spent 50 years climbing to the top. But the source material for today presents a really profound observation. The author, M.J. DeMarco, recalls a moment from his youth, seeing the stunning Lamborghini and just assuming an old man owned it. But the owner who walked up, he wasn't a retiree. He was a 25-year-old inventor. And that single moment, it shatters the illusion. Wealth doesn't require a lifetime of waiting. It requires a completely different system entirely. Part 2. The psychology of fake wealth. To figure out how to achieve actual wealth, we have to recognize the traps that keep us away from it. The first path is driven purely by the psychology of instant gratification. It's the tragic human behavior of the fake rich. You see, people on what the author calls the sidewalk have absolutely no control over their money. They're living paycheck to paycheck. And the most dangerous subset here, the sidewalk rich. These are the folks who look incredibly wealthy on the outside, but they're literally one missed paycheck away from ruin. They'll buy a 60,000 rupee phone on a 40,000 rupee salary purely for the social status. They're sacrificing their actual future just to look successful today. And their financial intelligence? It's absolute zero. It's a behavioral loop. The source notes that even if you handed someone on this path $10 million, their psychological programming would force them to blow it all on liabilities. You know, cars, clothes, just showing off, until they are right back to zero. Part 3. The middle class trap. Now, let's shift to a much more insidious trap, one that actually masquerades as safety and responsibility. This is the celebrated path, the slow lane. Here's how it goes. You spend your first 25 years accumulating expensive education and debt. Then you grind in a job, or maybe a medical clinic, for 30 to 40 years. You diligently save, you invest in index funds, and finally, around age 65, you retire rich. But your biological capacity to actually enjoy that wealth has faded. The source uses the example of a doctor. Now, it's a noble profession, absolutely vital for humanity. But if you pursue it purely as a mechanism to become wealthy while you're still young, you are playing a losing game against time.
Part 4. The Hidden System Exposed.
So if the sidewalk is chaotic and the slow lane trades your youth for old age comfort, what's the alternative? Well, here's the part most people never notice about how the financial system actually operates. Welcome to the fast lane. And by the way, if you're finding this breakdown of hidden systems valuable, consider subscribing to FIH Neuro Mindset as we continually decode the psychology of success. Okay, so the psychological truth of the fast lane requires a massive behavioral shift. You have to stop being a consumer of dopamine and become a creator of autonomous systems, meaning you absolutely must decouple your income from the physical hours you work. But building this machine requires intense, continuous learning far beyond school or college. It demands some heavy sacrifices early on, because you aren't just working a job anymore. You're building an engine, an asset, a system that will eventually run completely independently of your physical labor.
Part 5. The Architecture of Wealth.
Now, you can't just build any random system. The source outlines a very specific architectural blueprint, translating standard business concepts into psychological frameworks for creating massive value. There are 4 non-negotiable pillars required to build a system that generates wealth autonomously and preserves your youth. So let's break these down one by one to see exactly how this machine is constructed. Pillar number 1, fulfill a human need. Wealth only flows when you shift your psychological focus from your own selfish desires, like, I want to get rich, to actually solving large-scale human problems. Think about it. People hated waiting hours for a taxi, right? Uber and Ola solved that. People wanted affordable, reliable lodging, so Oyo created a system for it. The larger the problem you solve, the more wealth the system generates. Moving on to pillar 2, the entry barrier. This is all about the psychological danger of following the herd. If you open a standard clothing shop in your neighborhood, anyone else can do the exact same thing tomorrow. And if anyone can start your business in a day, you have zero leverage. You're just swimming in a sea of competition, doomed to mediocrity. You have to build something that's genuinely difficult to replicate. Pillar 3 is massive scalability. A local neighborhood burger stand has a ceiling. It can literally only serve the people walking by. But McDonald's, they scaled that system globally. A local grocery store is limited by its geography. Amazon reaches the entire planet. Your system has to be designed to break out of local geographic constraints and impact thousands or even millions of lives. And finally, pillar 4, the most vital rule of all, the ultimate metric, time. Does your system produce while you sleep? Whether you're a seller on an e-commerce platform reaching buyers at 3 a.m. or you own digital assets or rental properties, the system must operate 24/7 without demanding your physical presence. That is the true definition of a Fastlane machine. Part 6, the final consequence. As we reach the end of this explainer, we really have to look at the ultimate consequence of our daily actions. Because every single day, through our habits, we are choosing one of these 3 architectures for our lives. And the reality is pretty harsh. The sidewalk leaves you with zero control, your time is lost to impulse, and it results in endless struggle. The slow lane gives you the illusion of safety, sure, but your time is surrendered to a job, yielding wealth only in old age. The fast lane is the only system that decouples your time from your income, offering you total control and granting you wealth while you actually still have the youth to experience it. So, I want to leave you with this final critical thought. Take a look at your daily routine. Look closely at where your energy goes. Are you actively building a system for your own freedom, or are you just a replaceable component in someone else's? Think deeply about that. Until next time, keep analyzing the systems around you.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. We appreciate your time and hope to see you again soon. Subscribe to FIH Neuro Mindset, hit that like button, and ring the bell for updates. Thanks for joining.